Hey everyone. We recorded the following episode on the morning of Saturday, July. Hey everyone. We recorded the following episode on the morning of Saturday, July 13th. Obviously, after we recorded this, something happened, and you're, I'm sure, already aware. There was what appears to have been an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, which is crazy and shocking and scary and almost certainly bad for the next several months going into the election. Trump is fine, apparently. The latest I saw is he wasn't actually hit. He was hit by broken glass that the bullet had hit. It wasn't a direct hit. He was injured, but it seems to have only been minor injuries. The shooter, who was not inside the rally but was firing from the rooftop of a barn nearby, was killed. I've seen conflicting reports of whether any of the spectators at the rally were themselves killed or injured. It's all very breaking news. There's not a lot of confirmed information, at least as of when I'm recording this little bit right here. Basically that's what happened. I just didn't want to go right into this episode. This otherwise pretty low-key, low-stakes episode of Weekly Weird News on a day when something this huge happened without addressing it, at least somewhat. I'm sure that there will be a lot more news and information to come out of this in the coming days, and we will be covering all of that on Monday. But for now, that's all we really know. And just crazy. So, I'm kind of in shock here. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. But here's an episode we recorded before the shit went down. Please enjoy, I guess.
We've managed to go through an entire week with barely a mention of the world's richest and most annoying man. But that unfortunately ends now.
What?
Because Elon Musk is back at it again, talking about impregnating everyone.
Good.
There are only two things that seem to bring this man any genuine happiness: lawsuits and getting women pregnant. And therefore his time is increasingly devoted to suing and being sued, and convincing women to let him father their children. So far, he's fathered 12 children from 3 different women that we know of, and it's recently been revealed that he's got a habit of asking female employees at his companies to please have his babies.
Yeah. So the man's got a breeder fetish, sort of. And he increasingly uses any available opportunity to promote the idea that population collapse is imminent unless everyone has a ton of kids.
Preferably his kids.
Yeah. So this latest news in the Elon Musk breeder subplot really isn't all that surprising if you've been paying attention, but it is still very weird. And this week, the New York Times published a piece on the latest in Elon Musk's plans for colonizing Mars, and it's full of the usual overly optimistic bullshit about how it's all right around the corner, and there will be 1 million people living on Mars 20 years from now. But it also includes a very interesting tidbit in this section right here.
Mr. Musk, 53, has directed SpaceX employees to drill into the design and details of a Martian city, according to 5 people with knowledge of the efforts and documents viewed by the New York Times. One team is drawing up plans for small dome habitats, including the materials that could be used to build them. Another is working on spacesuits to combat Mars's hostile environment, while a medical team is researching whether humans can have children there. Mr. Musk has volunteered his sperm to help seed a colony, 2 people familiar with his comments said. The initiatives, which are in their infancy, are a shift towards more concrete planning for life on Mars as Mr. Musk's timeline has hastened. While he said in 2016 that it would take 40 to 100 years to have a self-sustaining civilization on the planet, Mr. Musk told SpaceX employees in April that he now expects 1 million people to be living there in about 20 years. Where there's a jizz, there's a way.
I would love, to be working on this team. Like, I'm designing all the space domes.
Yeah.
It feels like the tailors that are on the team sewing all of the Emperor's new clothes.
Yes.
No, sire, these are the most beautiful fabrics you've ever seen.
We live in a time when there are many emperors
Yeah.
with many new clothes.
They're all naked, and they all have micro penises. So yeah, a million little Elons colonizing the red planet.
I mean, better there than here, I guess.
That is true, but did we say it on the show, or was that just a normal conversation where I was convinced that Elon is just donating at sperm banks?
Yeah, we have speculated that he is the father of many, many more children.
Yeah, he's just for sport going around to sperm banks and just leaving donations.
He's like the guy at the beginning of Prometheus who just sacrifices his DNA into the river of life to seed the human race. Elon's doing that without any self-sacrifice, obviously. He's just putting his sperm anywhere that will take it.
I mean, if we
He's putting on a disguise and going down to the local sperm bank and just filling up like 10 jars. They're like, holy shit, we've never seen that many jars come out of that room before.
Yeah. Well,
I was saving it up.
If he's going to colonize Mars, I think it's about time that the rest of us start building a Death Star.
Yeah. It's time. We don't need Mars.
No.
It's just there.
But elsewhere in that article, we get this. But Mr. Musk has a plan. In his 2013 interview for the Science video, he said he had hoped to create his own species on Mars, an idea that he has repeated over the years to SpaceX employees and others close to the company. I think it's quite likely that we'd want to bioengineer new organisms that are better suited to living on Mars, he said in the interview. Humanity's kind of done that over time by sort of selective breeding. Woo boy! Or girl. A planet full of genetically engineered Elon sapiens.
A new species of human, better than the original, new and improved, because unlike other humans, these humans have Elon DNA. So they're smarter, funnier, richer,
they're very funny.
They're just better in every way. They got a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Think of all the tunnels we could build on Mars with a million little Elons running around.
It's gonna be very funny when Elon gets to Mars with all of his little Mars babies. And he's like, wait, hold on. All these domes that my engineers built for me don't work. What do you mean they were just conning me the entire time? Is this how it feels to be conned?
Yeah, he's gonna show up on Mars. First thing, he's gonna open the door to the dome, and somehow his finger's gonna get stuck in that door
and
get chopped off.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna fire up the oxygen thing, and then it's like, wee woo.
Yeah.
Oxygen thing not working.
It's flashing red. I guess
Call service station.
Gotta take this in. Oh, it's gonna take them 17 months to get here?
Nearest service station is 1,000,000 miles away.
Is this what I've been doing to people?
Oh, jeez.
Oh!
And yeah, setting aside how every reputable scientist who actually studies Mars is cautious, at best, about even guaranteeing that colonizing Mars is even possible, let alone right around the corner. There is, of course, the question of how such a place would be governed. You're creating a whole new world. How would that work?
Yeah.
Elon has thought about this.
Exactly, yes.
Here you go. Mr. Musk has told people that he bought X, the social media platform, partly to help test how a citizen-led government that rules by consensus might work on Mars.
Do it. I'm so excited. Yes, this is actually the perfect scenario because it's on a planet that is unreachable by us, at least at this point in time for humans. They're far enough away.
If someone breaks the law, they just have to walk around with like a sandwich board that has a community note on it.
Yes.
That says, this person actually broke the law.
Yeah, they're going to have
Here's the sources.
In the retro futurist kind of example, they're all going to have shirts and hats that have scrolling texts that are constantly fact-checking them. But no, what a miserable
Fellow
planet.
citizens added context to this person.
And do it like the Truman Show. I think we can get Mars funded by making it into a reality show where a bunch of Elon spawns all compete to see who can rule the planet.
I mean, there was that idea a little while ago. It wasn't tied to Elon, but there was this whole scam like 10 years ago where people were competing to colonize Mars as part of like a reality TV thing. And it, of course, fell apart because the important part where you figure out how to actually colonize Mars. They didn't do any of that. They just mostly thought about like raising money and
sitting in space for a long time.
Getting people to sign up, and also it was everyone who signed up obviously was signing up to leave their entire lives behind and die on Mars. So it was kind of a bleak, sad situation.
I am very excited to watch the reality show Elon and the Lord of the Flies. It is going to be fantastic. When X77246 hashtag wins and blows that conch, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there's more. He also has said that he envisions residents on the planet will drive a version of the steel-paneled Cybertrucks made by Tesla, his electric vehicle company.
Oh, good.
So everything on Mars is obviously going to go great. Way better than anything here on Earth.
Yeah.
We got the Cybertruck up there getting stuck in regolith, and we got people running a government the way that Twitter is run, which is, of course, Twitter is run really well.
The best way possible.
Yeah.
If you get any dust on the windshield, don't worry. The part is in the mail.
Yeah.
It'll be shipped to Mars in no time.
Just stick your head out the window. Oh, shit, but there's no oxygen. Okay, well, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
User error. Go on the forums. Complain.
This is going to be the best version of Total Recall ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. All the dream sequences will be real.
They will be.
Yeah. So this is obviously going to happen.
All of this.
And that's why we should take it very seriously.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting article that lays out the most up-to-date version of Elon's plans for Mars, but it's also just not very good journalism. Aside from a few asides where it notes that NASA doesn't think humans will even land on Mars until the 2040s, and that most experts believe any colonization of Mars will be a slow process unfolding over several decades, the article is mainly just presenting Elon's vision for Mars as if it's plausible, which at this point is pretty absurd, considering his two latest accomplishments have been ruining Twitter and inventing the most broken, busted-ass pickup truck of all time.
And ugliest.
Yeah, that's what I meant by busted.
Yeah.
It's a double entendre.
Yeah, that's true.
So Elon built his entire reputation on this kind of credulous media coverage. But at this point, you could fill a book with all the things that he said that would happen that did not. So, in conclusion, we feel pretty confident saying that there will not be millions of Elon clones populating Mars, and thank God. At least not in the near term. And if it does happen, don't act like I was upset that this is actually coming to fruition. I fully support an entire planet of Elons.
Yeah, I do kind of want to see what happens.
Yeah. We get a bunch of dictators to get all of their genocidal rage out on that planet.
Yeah.
And then come back and we can have a peaceful planet here.
On Mars, we will settle our differences with MMA fights.
Yes, between the Elons.
Where there's a 6 month to a year long taunting period where you say things to the other guy. And then at the end of that year, the fight just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and the space mom comes on the screen and tells people that, what if we did a joke contest?
And you just conduct a poll where voters decide who won the fight.
Not that every time we talk about this I have to bring it up, but I feel like every once in a while I have to bring up the fact that, like, not only should we be focusing on making this planet habitable instead of everything that we're talking about with Mars, the idea that anyone with a, whatever you want to call a soul, would want to go to a already dead planet.
Yeah, there's nothing fucking there.
Literally, we live on the most beautiful out of millions and millions of miles. Millions of miles. We live on the most perfect, beautiful planet with some of the most incredible natural things you could ever even imagine. And you're like, oh, you know what we should do? Go to a planet that's just red with craters.
Go to a planet that we have to start from, like, literally step one.
Yeah.
Like, make this sustainable for any life whatsoever.
Yeah, just to live at all. Instead, it's just like, okay, we've got a perfectly good planet here. We haven't completely fucked it yet. We're very close, but there's still some beautiful, nature and natural resources and things to do. We should continue choking this one to death while building the life raft.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, literally aiming for the iceberg in the Titanic and being like, don't worry, we got lifeboats on board.
I feel like if you have billions of dollars at your disposal, you should be directing that money towards more immediate, relevant issues, like this current planet.
The first thing my head always goes to is, like, what would Elon Musk, would he even feel anything like looking out at that valley in Yosemite, or like Zion National Park, or like the Swiss Alps or something like that? Like, do you feel anything? Is that what's wrong?
And again, like, say what you will about Zuck, he does seem to enjoy the Earth. He's always out there outdoors doing stuff.
I feel like he loves it. He doesn't understand the actual damage that he's doing to it by just existing in a way that he does. But at least he's enjoying it, I guess.
Yeah. Now that I think of it, I've never seen a single photo of Elon Musk in nature.
That's right. And he even says that he prefers to just work the entire time. And it's like, buddy, maybe if you could just enjoy some time alone with your thoughts in a beautiful place, it might alter your perspective on things.
Maybe we send him to Mars and that'll give him a new appreciation for Earth.
Ah, the perfect planet where there's nothing to do, nothing to see, and nothing to eat. So all I can do is work.
Also, no oxygen, and you're being just bombarded with dangerous doses of radiation constantly.
It's actually the perfect visual when you think of Zuck wakeboarding with the American flag on this beautiful water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you picture Elon on Mars alone, sitting in a bunch of dust, typing on the computer going like, well, I like typing.
Like Dr. Manhattan,
Yeah.
but he's just got his phone in his hand.
Yeah.
And he's just tapping the sideways crying laughing emoji.
The exclamation points and the sideways laughing. It's actually pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't feel bad for him.
No.
But speaking of billionaires and their absolute pipe dreams about colonizing the solar system, remember OceanGate? The company whose founder died a year ago, along with 4 passengers, when his tiny, shitty submarine imploded on the way down to the Titanic. As we discussed recently, this catastrophe does not seem to have deterred Stockton Rush's co-founder at OceanGate one bit. And he's already planning new, potentially dangerous submersible dives elsewhere, including one down to a place called the Portal of Hell.
Yay!
I'm sure that will go great. But that's not all he's up to. He's got a lot of big ideas. Here's The Independent.
A year on from the Titan submersible disaster, the OceanGate co-founder has laid out his ambitions to colonize the moon by 2063. I mean, all things considered, it's a much more humble plan than what Elon is suggesting.
We've been there.
Yeah, at least we've been there.
We've
People
been
have
there.
gone out and walked on it.
Yeah, it's weird. Are there any obvious reasons why a place that we've been to so long ago hasn't been colonized yet? Could it perhaps be that it's fucking useless and there's no point to it?
And very difficult to do. And this guy with his 2063 target is way beyond. So I put more faith in this one.
In 40 years, buddy, look around you. Look at the beautiful planet you're living on. In 40 years, say goodbye to that. You're going to live on the moon.
Yeah. Remember the Dust Bowl? We're doing it again.
Yep, Dust Planet.
Argentine-American businessman Guillermo Online, 58, says he believes that the technology to create a mirth...
I'm going to stop you there, buddy.
Yeah. A society spread across Earth and the moon is already available today. He claims colonization would have a dramatic effect on how people see themselves and speculated that humanity would begin to see ourselves not just as citizens of one country or another, but as inhabitants of mirth. How can you be this rich and that bad at branding?
It's just to picture it. Mirth.
Mirth.
Yeah, it's an ugly word. I can't tell you exactly why, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop you right there. This ends now. Mirth is not going to happen.
Yeah.
It continues. The entrepreneur has laid out the plans to colonize the moon as chairman of the Waypaver Foundation, which aims to make humanity a multi-planet species. One of its ventures is Project Moon Hut, which aims to begin the colonization by placing a basic hut on its surface, comparable to a double-wide trailer that is commonly used on job construction sites, by 2031. The organization says that this will allow 4 to 8 people to begin living on the moon and prepare for the assembly of an industrial park, which would grow to house 90 people. 16 tenants have been selected to utilize the moon's unique environment for discovery, manufacturing, and selling products from the moon to Earth, according to a statement from Project Moon Hut imagining the process. This marks the beginning of the Mirth economic system.
Are they doing a company town on the moon?
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
Oh, so mirth.
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 And I, of course, will be Emperor of Mirth.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it, folks? But yeah, in a lot of ways, this is dumber and more ridiculous than Elon's plans for Mars. I mean, we already figured out the whole getting to the moon thing more than 50 years ago. The problem is it's the moon.
Yeah.
It's real pretty to look at from here. And sure, I would imagine it's probably fun to do a little romp on for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while.
Yeah. But there's nothing there. It is a dead satellite.
This is a dead rock.
There's nothing there. There's no need to colonize it. The only realistic plan that I thought might work, and I'm not a scientist, is that they would use it as like a pit stop on the way to Mars.
Yeah, I mean...
It'd be a truck stop.
But you only do that once the whole Mars thing is up and running.
And believe me, better than Mirth, I would much rather see a Buc-ee's on the moon.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be what happens. You can get your space shuttle
Buc-ee's
washed.
pays its employees well. We can't have that. This is a company town.
We get moon bucks. They're only valuable on the moon.
Yeah.
And everything that humans need to actually survive, it would have to be sent from Earth to the moon at great expense.
Yes, not cheap.
We get Amazon Prime.
Anytime we send anything up there, it's kind of a really big deal.
No, that's why he's doing Blue Origin. So that Amazon can send things to the moon.
His packages.
Yeah. The only semi-plausible justification for colonizing the moon is something he doesn't even mention. If fusion energy is ever going to get figured out, there's potentially helium-3 that could be mined up there to power it, but we currently don't have fusion. And even if we did, we haven't figured out how extracting helium-3 from the moon would work.
Yeah, people love to point to this. They're like, oh, it's full of helium-3 from all the asteroids that hit it.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually look into this and they're like, yeah, so the parts per million, you'd take just a house full of moon dust and get maybe a penny's worth of helium-3.
Yeah.
So there'd have to be some insane process for actually sorting through all that.
It's the alien from Futurama. It eats it all and then shits a little tiny space power brick.
We need the worm from Dune to eat all that dust.
So look, great idea. But that's not his only great idea.
He's got a lot of ideas.
Here's Business Insider.
Though it's often called Earth's twin, Venus doesn't seem like the ideal place for humans to thrive. Even Sondland agrees. You're absolutely right that when you talk about going to Venus, it would raise eyebrows outside the space industry. And it even raises eyebrows inside the space industry, he said. Venus is the warmest planet in the solar system. Its atmosphere is chock full of carbon dioxide. Its surface temperature could melt lead. And sulfuric acid rains down from its clouds.
Ooh.
Its atmospheric pressure is crushing, more than 90 times that of Earth, according to NASA. In spite of this, Sondland doesn't see why humanity shouldn't attempt to live on the planet. He points to research that suggests there is a sliver of the Venusian atmosphere about 30 miles from the surface where humans could, theoretically, survive because temperatures are lower and pressure is less intense. If a space station could be designed to withstand the sulfuric acid in the clouds, Sondland says, hundreds to thousands of people could someday live in the Venusian atmosphere. He says a floating colony could hold 1,000 people in the Venusian atmosphere by 2050, although exactly how this will happen is less clear.
He's invented the Jetsons.
Yeah. That looks pretty cool.
What if we did that but for real?
It's that, and it's like Cloud City from Star Wars.
Yeah.
So the planet is absolutely inhospitable to any and all life, but what if there were a way to build a city in the clouds? This is worth my time, money, and effort.
Well, I don't know. This guy's going down to the portal of hell or whatever, so...
Yeah, it's a shame he'll not get the chance to realize any of these dreams the next time one of his submarines implodes.
Yeah, implodes, yeah. Definitely the guy that you want on a space mission.
Yeah, it is just hilarious. He really thinks he can get past the OceanGate thing. Yeah. I feel like when you're talking about transporting people anywhere, whether it be the ocean or space, when you find out that the guy who's taking you there is a co-founder of the OceanGate submersible company, that's kind of a non-starter.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a fucking OceanGate airport shuttle, let alone a space shuttle.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even get in this guy's Uber if he was driving it.
No thanks. So yes, there should be a law. There ought to be a law that anytime some rich dipshit talks to the media about his plans for colonizing the solar system, you have to also reach out to at least two actual scientists to ask them if any of this is worth doing or even remotely possible.
Yeah, this is so annoying because this is exactly how we got Elon Musk in the first place. It's just he would say some fucking bullshit and then the press would just write it down as if it's true.
Well, the problem with Elon Musk is you can't say no to him because he's the guy that's funding it, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're at SpaceX and you're like, so that's not possible. Okay, well, you're fired.
You're fired. Get me a guy who says yes.
A guy who says yes who might be less qualified and also isn't going to come through with this, but at least he will say
yes. And isn't a woman unless she wants to get pregnant.
In which case is totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why anyone's even entertaining the bullshit from a guy whose most notable accomplishment was co-founding a submersible company that killed a bunch of people after being warned for years by experts that they were going to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah. But, why are we listening to this man?
He's enjoying his moment in the sun.
Why are you entertaining this guy's
For
dreams?
us, it's funny because it's like, wow, this guy is a total nut job. He's got big ideas. And most of those big ideas seem like they're lifted from decades-old movies and TV shows. But, that aging brain is really up to something.
I mean, listen, science fiction is a lot more exciting than actual science.
Yeah.
Things are possible in science fiction that are otherwise just not
That's
possible
the problem is
in real science.
Everyone with money are the types of people going, where's my jetpack?
Yeah.
Where's my flying car?
Where's my hoverboard?
Instead of like, oh shit, we should probably like figure out how to get the CO2 levels down.
Yeah, there's just...
there's lots of poisoned water and there's a lot going on we should probably fix first. But no, they're like, I want a hoverboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're fucked. But enough of these billionaire pipe dreams. Let's check in on how things are going down here on Earth, specifically here in the United States of America, where for the past 2 weeks, the question on everyone's mind has been, will Joe Biden drop out of the presidential race? And honestly, after that disastrous debate performance and those many, many calls from an increasing number of prominent figures telling him to please, 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 I love you, would you please drop out? We kind of figured it would have happened by now.
Yeah.
That's on me for being optimistic about fucking anything.
I said right when it started, like, this needs to happen fast, or the Democrats are very good at being like, oh, that old thing?
But no, it has not happened, and it increasingly looks like it won't. So on Thursday, following a NATO summit, it was announced that Biden would hold a rare solo press conference. Oh my God, what could it be about? The hype around the possibility that he would use this opportunity to step aside led to an unusually high number of people tuning in.
There were so many people on Twitter being like, God damn it, I've been tricked into watching the nightly news.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he didn't do it. Now, most of the questions from the press were specifically about whether he would stay in the race, of course. And he was steadfast and stubborn in his insistence that he is totally equipped to be running this country when he is 86 years old.
Yeah, the press conference was, I mean, at least for us, less than reassuring.
Yeah.
And we got a taste of what was to come a few hours earlier during a NATO summit press conference where this happened.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway.
Okay, so introducing a close ally by the name of his mortal enemy, not great.
No.
Hopefully he got that kind of thing out of his system and didn't do anything like that at the next press conference where the whole nation was watching.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one.
Okay. Mixing up Kamala Harris with Donald Trump, that's also not great.
No.
Luckily, members of the press took this as an opportunity to ask how old Joe Biden's brain is doing.
I've taken 3 significant and intense neurological exams by a neurologist. In each case, as recently as February. And they say I'm in good shape.
Okay, yeah. Very reassuring.
Yeah, it's always cool when someone's like, yeah, actually my brain is working great, and to demonstrate, I will now short circuit for like 10 seconds in front of all of you.
So we already know the answer, but it sounds like letting the vice president replace you on the ticket is off the table.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
I love when he does that whispering voice.
It's creepy.
I'm sure all of his advisors, they're like, Joe, you got to do the whispering voice even more. The people love it when you get real whispery and your mouth opens up like that Titan with the big mouth and all the teeth.
Find me an economist that'll tell you I'm doing a wrong job. And it's so funny because every question that he answered, it was answered in a way that like he is self-congratulating, which like in some cases with his policy agendas, he deserves to congratulate himself.
Sure.
But he wasn't answering the actual question, which is, okay, you in a lot of people's minds, you've done a great job. Why not step down now? And instead, he was just like, we're doing a great job and we're going to keep doing a great job. It's like, okay, but we don't need you. And we're going to trick you into talking about Kamala in a second, even though we've asked 3 times and you haven't even brought it up. We're going to force you to say good things about her. And then he finally did. But yes, it was very weird, very awkward. And I get the whole like, Okay, people mix up names all the time. But the problem is, if this was once a month, once a week maybe.
This is twice in the span of like an hour.
Yes, and there already wasn't a microscope on this guy because of the numerous shortcomings.
And this is him very consciously trying to appear like he's not senile. And still coming out looking kind of senile.
It seems as though that people are giving him more chances. Like, all right, you got the NATO press conference. The whole country's watching again. You want a bump or something? You want to?
Please give him a bump.
Yeah.
And look, listen, these were the worst moments of the press conference. It wasn't all that bad, but it also was never great.
No. He sounded like a little more energetic, I guess.
At some parts, he had a part that first of all, he has this just cadence, this way of speaking that makes you want to fall asleep.
Yes. Yeah. He should be reading for those sleepy time apps instead of being president.
He did have a moment where everyone who had fallen asleep in the classroom jolted up because he started yelling about guns.
Yeah.
Kind of out of nowhere.
Do you see the clip of was it Blinken and them reacting when he called Vice President Trump?
No. Was this real?
Yes. They're sitting there staring and just going.
Well.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless of what the Blue Anon people are saying, it wasn't impressive. I mean, it's he did the bare minimum. He got up there and gave basically a sixth grader's book report on what NATO is and what the current issues NATO is facing are.
I think it was very telling that in one conversation he said, I spoke with all the world leaders and they didn't sound like they were concerned about my age. They just said, we really hope that the Democrats win. And it's I think they're saying in a roundabout way, they're trying to tell you without being so direct.
That is the central issue here that people are really putting on their blinders for. Is just you want Joe Biden to drop out because you want the Democrats to lose. And it's no,
we want them to win.
Everyone asking him to drop out is saying because they want the Democrats to win.
Yes.
They don't think Joe Biden can do it. Anyway, he seemed old up there because he is in fact very old. This is not something he cannot stop seeming old because he's old. He trailed off. He lost his train of thought, spoke slowly and quietly. There was a lot of pauses and then, anyway.
Yeah.
On and on. And polling after the press conference shows that for likely voters, the gaffes are what stood out.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh, that's just because the media focused on that. And you're not wrong, but also it's the fucking candidate's job not to give the media ammunition.
It's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Currently.
But in general, it wasn't a total disaster. So the consensus seems to be that this is maybe the worst possible outcome, which is it was bad enough that it did not change anyone's mind. It didn't reassure anyone who had concerns about Biden's age that it's not an issue, but it also wasn't bad enough to decisively disqualify him.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're stuck with him, and it's increasingly looking like that. I mean, following the debate, there were a few more calls from House Democrats for Biden to step down, minutes after the debate.
What about the supergroup, though? They got the supergroup together.
We're going to get to that. Sounds like there's going to be more calls for him to step down.
Yeah.
Here's the Daily Beast on the supergroup, the Democratic Avengers.
Yeah. The latest plan to try and force President Joe Biden to drop out of the presidential race would see a group of heavyweight super friends from the top of the Democratic Party head to the White House together to speak with a united voice and tell him that time is up.
Literal intervention.
The super friends are assembling, a House Democrat told Politico. There's a group of people who are going to go make their case to whomever they can get to at the White House that he needs to step aside, and we're going to get our asses kicked if he doesn't.
I like that they subtly reveal that they can't get an audience with Joe Biden.
So whoever will listen.
Which has apparently been a big issue is, and it's one of the reasons why people are suddenly concerned is because for the last year, he has sort of insulated himself. Very few people, even within the party, have had one-on-one.
Is that Wall Street Journal article where it was okay, why hasn't the press known about this? And it goes through the very meticulous process of them seemingly deliberately hiding the fact that Joe Biden is sundown.
Well, even staff within the White House, you cannot.
Yeah.
No one has direct contact with Biden.
It's a bad situation.
And it's his wife's personal staff who are you got to talk to one of them if you want to get any message to him.
Yeah. The plan would see a group of Biden's oldest and most senior Democratic colleagues come together to make a definitive statement on behalf of the party that it would be damaging if the president were to continue. It is hoped that the team would include Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, President pro tempore Patty Murray, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and Representative Jim Clyburn. Some of Biden's top supporters, including former President Barack Obama, are reportedly working on getting Biden to quit the race, but there is no clarity on who would take over or by what mechanism they should be selected. He's lost Barry?
I knew Barack Obama was in the tank for Trump.
Oh yeah, that's him.
I knew that
and he's racist.
The Senate Majority Leader, the House Minority Leader,
the former
House Speaker, and the head of the Congressional Black Caucus were all secretly in the tank for Trump.
I think that they should go, Biden, you know what? You're old, we're old. Let's all quit together.
I mean, yeah. That's the thing. Like,
because how are you going to be Biden and be like, Nancy, have you looked in the mirror lately?
But that's the thing. Like, so when Nancy Pelosi, when she did that like wishy-washy thing the other day, people were like, well, why doesn't Nancy quit? And it's like, yeah, she kind of did 2 years ago when she like voluntarily stepped down from being the leader of the House Democrats. And she had a very like graceful speech where it's been a joke recently where people start quoting Nancy Pelosi, the speech she gave when she stepped down. It's like Joe Biden just now. Oh, sorry, that was Nancy Pelosi 2 years ago. Yeah,
I mean, to her credit, at least she did do that. She
should retire too because she is old as shit. But
at least she doesn't have the same legacy that the end of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Dianne Feinstein have. Now hanging over them like a cloud.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see if any of this turns out to be true. I don't know. At this point, I'm not holding my breath. I
still think it's going to happen, but
I want to think it will happen.
Yeah.
But
we're coming at this from a place of love for our country.
Yeah. I really don't want Trump to be president again.
Yeah.
It terrifies me. And
that's why Joe Biden should sit down.
What terrifies me about it is that it seems entirely avoidable.
Yes.
Trump, like Biden isn't popular, but neither is Trump.
Yeah.
It seems that voters are presented with two options that no one really likes. No. And it would be nice to maybe change things up to give them just any reason to care.
This is the easiest trolley problem I would ever have.
Yeah. Run him over. But it's clear that no matter how emphatically Biden insists he ain't leaving, a lot of people in his party still really, really want him to leave.
It's becoming very sad.
Yeah,
because he had a chance to just be like, oh yeah, okay. And now it's like, it actually feels bad. It doesn't for me, but like for him, it must. Like, shit.
So, they want him to leave, again, because they believe that if he doesn't, the Democrats are not only going to lose the presidency, but also possibly both houses of Congress, which would be the nightmare scenario if Trump comes in with full control of the government. It's a real shit show. And right now, we could really use a good distraction. Yeah. So let's shift from U.S. politics to U.K. politics. Now, the Labour Party, of course, won control of Parliament last week for the first time in 14 years. But we care less about the party politics over there than we do about our favorite aspect of UK elections. The characters.
Yeah.
In every UK election, you get uptight career politicians standing on stage next to their opponents. And those opponents are oftentimes a bit strange. Yeah. For example, here's Keir Starmer, the UK's new Prime Minister, right after winning his election.
Lastly, I'd like to pay tribute to my fellow candidates who put themselves forward for public service. Because in this room, right here, beats the heart of our democracy.
Yeah, that was the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom saying, in this room right here beats the heart of our democracy, while standing next to a guy in an Elmo costume and another guy in a weird comically large hat. It's a funny hat. It's funny because it's big.
It's a big hat.
And here's former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who won his race but lost the job as PM, up on stage next to Count Binface, some sort of ventriloquist, and a guy in sunglasses holding up the letter L.
Just right behind him, holding up an L the entire speech. Incredible. You couldn't do that in America.
No. And then there's Jacob Rees-Mogg, a real fancy boy who just got voted out of office after 14 years, forced to endure his humiliating defeat while standing next to a man wearing what can perhaps be best described as a breakfast mask. It is an English breakfast, though, so it's mostly beans.
But there's like eggs, bacon, a fried tomato. It's all there.
So say what you will about UK politics, but you can't deny that their voters have more options than we do. And right now, that makes us feel very jealous.
Yeah,
jealous.
I mean, we have RFK. He's basically our breakfast man.
It is
but
so
it's less
funny.
Fun. I wish RFK was wearing the breakfast mask.
It should speak volumes about the RFK campaign that in the last 2 weeks...
I looked at the polling this morning, and it is has not moved a fucking
That
inch.
is, if there was ever, even you delusional fucks that are hate watching this show, if there was ever a smidge of a chance that RFK could move the needle at all, it would have been within the last 2 weeks. And guess what?
He's flatlined for the last
nothing.
6 months. Like, it has not moved.
This was his what, and it wasn't even a shot. But if there was a shot in hell, this was his one shot, and he failed to capitalize on it. Instead, the man has wasted millions of dollars.
Well, millions of someone else's money. Sergey Brin's ex-wife's money.
And his own time and mental health to just walk out and start airing his dirty laundry all over America.
Yeah. But I think for him, that is good for his mental health. He's a Kennedy.
Yeah.
He's a fucking weirdo.
It's all out there.
And this weirdly makes him feel happy and fulfilled.
Sure.
He's going to run for every election for the rest of his life.
What can I say? I love it. I'm addicted to running.
I have so many more skeletons in my closet that you haven't even gotten to.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the king of Mars.
Yeah. Anyways, before we move on to the headlines half of the show, it is time to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Factor.
Woo!
Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for?
Nothing. I had a delicious chili mac this week. What are you waiting for?
Delicious.
With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this summer with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Nobody says that. Enjoy effortless.
Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Head to factormeals.com/newsdump50 and use code newsdump50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code newsdump50 at factormeals.com/newsdump50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Find me one economist worth his weight in salt that says that ain't a good deal. Do it!
Nobody says that.
All right, now we're into the headlines half of the show. It's been 2 weeks, a week and a half, no headlines. So let's get some good ones here. We got the weirdest, craziest
Let's line them up.
Headlines from around the world, starting with...
Hippopotamuses can become airborne for substantial periods of time, researchers discover.
Don't tell me how. I'm going to immediately assume it's that they spin their tail really fast and they fly away like a helicopter.
I mean, that might be it. They don't know how or why. Also, when they say substantial, it's like half a second.
But like galloping.
Yeah, but apparently that's weird because every other animal that weighs, they're like thousands of pounds. Every other animal that weighs that much, even when they're moving fast, they always have at least 1 foot on the ground. Mm-hmm. Whereas hippos, it's more like dogs and horses, where at a certain gait, they're fully off the ground, which is crazy. But it makes sense.
They're terrifying animals.
As a kid, you're scared of lions and bears and T-Rexes. As an adult, hippopotamus is just the
I'll never be around one. But.
Absolute freak of the animal kingdom. This is an animal that someone would come up with for a fantasy novel, not something real life. They're it can run 30 miles an hour. Its mouth is as big as a fucking
weighs
car.
A bazillion pounds.
It can run in water.
That's where it probably gets the good running from because it runs in water. That's how it gets around.
It's so heavy that it falls to the bottom of the river
and just walks normal.
It runs down there.
And so when it gets on land,
it can jump up.
When it gets on land, it's like taking the weights off. You can zoom.
Just an absolute freak of nature.
You ever seen the video of the hippo pooping and its tail goes spinning?
Oh, classic.
Yeah, so that's how then it takes off and floats away.
I mean, a flying hippo. That's
You seen videos of them eating whole watermelons in one bite?
Yeah, watermelons and pumpkins, they just toss them in there. Bop.
Yeah, fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, that's your skull.
And now they're flying.
Yeah.
The co-founder of OceanGate said, "What if I could make hippos fly?" And he fucking did it, folks.
It'd be over for us.
Yeah, be joking.
If they could legitimately fly, if they gave hippos wings.
Well, it would immediately be over for Colombia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All of Pablo Escobar's
Damn
hippos
you, Pablo
they
Escobar.
would take off and leave.
Yeah.
Flight diverted after man exposed himself and urinated in the aisle of the aircraft, prosecutors say.
And there was pictures of this.
Did you see the one where the person's hand is in the thing? This is the guy. It's like a cop entering the plane and looking at him, and there's just a stewardess hand like...
He's like right by the exit.
It looks like first class.
Yeah.
It's
or
clearly...
he's at least in like, you know, that front
part,
row where there's no seat in front of you. And yeah, he's just fully standing up there with his hog out, pissing in the aisle.
Yeah.
Not really sure why. Apparently he's like, yeah, I had a few drinks. Like, yeah, buddy, that's not going to get you out of this.
It is always drinks and fucking Ambien or anxiety medication.
Don't do it.
Because it causes you to fucking black out and you don't know what you're doing. There was like I forget, he was in like one of the Twilight movies or something. The guy that like was just walking around LAX and then just stopped and pissed on the carpet.
What?
Yeah, and he ended up being on like something like that.
Jesus.
This was 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, anytime I see stuff like this, I'm like, oh, the lady that saw someone that wasn't real probably had like an Ambien or something or like a Xanax and had a glass of wine.
I wish this guy wasn't real.
Yeah.
I bet he does too, because not only are you like never flying again, you're going on the like sex offender list.
Yeah.
You can't pull your dick out and start peeing in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
A plane full of people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, it's just very annoying because now everyone's late.
Yeah.
That's
they had to divert the plane, and some poor fucking sad sack of shit had to come and sop up this man's piss.
The photo's still good though.
It's a great photo. This is the guy right here.
Right there.
Jackass star Steve-O set to undergo D-cup breast augmentation.
He also let what's his name, the tattooed face singer, Post Malone. He also let Post Malone do a tattoo on his face of a penis. And it's just like, Steve-O, like, things are going so well.
His
You're
life is
doing
a
fine.
spectacle, though. This is all part of the plan.
Yeah, but he's just doing stand-up and storytelling and stuff now.
Yeah, he
It's
doesn't.
like-
I agree that he doesn't need to do any of this
No.
shit. But the thing with the boobs, he's just like, yeah, it would be funny. No one's ever done that before, just as a goof.
Yeah, but he regrets a bunch of stuff that he's done.
I mean, at least with breast implants, it is reversible.
Sure.
He's like, yeah, I'll do it for like a month and then have them removed.
On
It'd
the
be
other
funny.
hand, like he does a bunch of the coolest shit. Like, first of all, congrats. What an amazing sober story. Probably one of the most like notable success stories of a generation.
Well, this is the thing. He gave up drugs and alcohol, and now he's got to
and
go.
He's not doing as much adrenaline stuff.
He's got to go to
needs it.
extreme lengths to achieve that same
So
sense
he
of
moved
purpose.
away from LA and built. He got some property and he built on this new land like a skateboard barn, and that's a half pipe in it. But that's not crazy. What's amazing is that because he's old like all of us.
Yeah.
He built this thing on the half pipe where it's like a rope and it's tied to the roof, so he can't fall. So he can put his balance on that, so he can learn tricks really easily by holding on to it.
Oh,
and
that's
then he just ditches
really cool,
it, and it's
actually.
you build your muscle memory. Yeah, I want to try it so bad because I really love half pipes.
Yeah.
But I'm scared of legitimately hurting myself now.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. I bet I could still do a little, like a blunt stall or a rock and roll.
Let's go
I could do a
outside and
5-0.
try. I know two separate people my age, two friends who in the past year have like just shattered fucking bones because they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go skateboard.
Yeah,
and
you
just
hit your
doing
hand.
like,
Just shatter your
just
wrist.
like,
That's why I don't do it. It's scary. Like a 2-foot fall and you could like debilitate yourself.
Yeah, you had soft bones as a kid. You don't have soft bones anymore. You got hard bones.
Yeah. Ugh.
In other celebrity news, Justin Timberlake is opening a sports bar with Tiger Woods. They call it the fucking DUI Grill.
Yeah, it have a menu just like the Heart Attack Grill where everything is like it's the level of what you're gonna blow on the breathalyzer on the way home.
Yeah, they got breathalyzers at the table. Yeah, I guess they're both part of some like restaurant investors group, but it was a perfect opportunity for this article to feature both of their mugshots side by side.
Yeah. A great story about a bar like that when I was growing up. There was a breathalyzer machine near the front where you could take a straw and you blow into it, and we would like see how drunk we could get and see how high score we could get. And then what we used to do, it also had indoor go-karting at this place. And we would get wasted and go go-kart racing. And then they put the breathalyzer in front of the go-kart racing, so we had to blow to get to be able to drive the go-karts because it was such a problem that everyone was drunk driving the go-karts.
I mean, yeah, that would become a problem pretty. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Let's all blow blow a DUI level breathalyzer, and then see who's better at driving drunk.
They also used to have a toy train that went around the top of the bar, and we'd flick pennies up to try to derail it.
Wow, sounds like you guys are terrible customers.
Yeah, they're awful. Bob's Burgers actor pleads guilty to interfering with police during Capitol riot.
It's a subplot of January 6th that I like every 6 months I'd be like, hey, what happened with that? And I only realized this recently going through my Google Photos. I have a photo with a convicted
Canceled.
January 6th rioter.
Canceled.
It's me and my wife, because he did a voice on an animated show that my wife worked on like 10 years ago.
Complicit. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I met him. He was a nice guy. He seemed like a tough, like, hey, I loved you in Mr. Show. And then, he, I don't know what happened, but he went to the Capitol. He
walked
stormed
away.
it.
He walked away from me. He was like, that. I fucking hate libs.
Yeah.
Man.
He stole like a cop's shield. Like he's facing up to like 5 years in prison. I don't think he'll get that much, but like,
well, don't worry,
Jesus
because
Christ,
when
man.
he gets out, there's a whole animation block of Daily Wire shows he can do voices
yeah,
for.
he can be on like whatever the next Mr. Bircham is, or what? Have you seen that animated show, the South Park of X?
Oh yeah, and Elon's in the title sequence.
Yeah, I can't even remember the title. It's like Cranky Grandpa, something like that. It's terrible.
My non-binary granddaughter's taking me out to the woke food fair.
Yeah,
so those are the jokes.
It's just every conservative like one joke you can think of.
The reaction that I've seen is that also conservatives fucking hate it too.
Yeah,
like, hey, these jokes are like kind of old and dated.
There was a theory. They're like, this is something libs made this to make conservatives look bad.
Always the best compliment.
Yeah.
You know, really nailed it.
This is so fucking god awful that there's no way a conservative actually made this. Clearly, this was done to trick people into thinking conservatives aren't funny.
Yeah, well, it worked.
Yeah. Texans use Whataburger app to track power outages caused by Hurricane Beryl.
What?
And the reason they're using that app is because none of the actual power companies in Texas, have any way of tracking that.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be profitable to make an app of like that. That would cost money. And being isolated on their own power grid costs a lot of money, So we can't be doing fancy stuff like that. So, why don't you just download the Whataburger app?
Yeah, this is similar. What's the hurricane?
Waffle House.
Yeah, the Waffle House hurricane warning system.
Yeah, this is Texas's version of that. Like, if the Whataburger's closed, then the power must be out.
Yeah.
So, well.
Sounds like they had a bad time over in Texas. They're like weird. Like 2 years after like the worst winter storm in history, we get like the worst summer storm in history.
And they had a bunch of shark attacks like last week or the week before too.
God.
Yeah. God really has it in for Texas.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Greg Abbott's like overseas.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's keep him that way.
He might be back now. But it is interesting that America relies on its fast food industry to alert its citizenry of emergency situations.
The backbone of our democracy.
It would be like here if it's like, fuck, was that an earthquake? Was that a big one? We should check and see if In-N-Out's open.
That's the thing is earthquakes, they're fine. They don't really do anything.
Well.
Not yet.
Yeah, wait till an In-N-Out's closed down, then you'll know.
Yeah. Vending machines for ammunition have hit grocery stores across the South.
And so this has some AI aspect to it or no?
Yeah, it's got supposedly. It might just be marketing, but they're like, and like we did everything to make sure that like a child can't just walk up to this machine and buy ammunition. But I guess a couple of the towns that these have been installed in are like, no, we have to get rid of this. Like there's like way too much fucking liability here. You can't just have a machine sell people bullets.
I would assume you could just probably break into it like any other machine and just steal the bullets.
It's like, first of all, any place where this is in a supermarket, there are like 10 fucking guns and ammo stores within a quarter mile.
But you want to be discreet.
I'm getting my groceries, and you know what? I am a little bit short.
They should just sell them loose in the store, like and just put the censored bars over it, like the porno mags. They just put like the black plate in front of it.
It should be like
kids can't see it.
In like the big candy stores where they're in like a big
you get
thing.
A scoop.
You get a bag and you turn the knob to open it and it pours out into your bag and then you take it to the checkout and they weigh it.
It's like the barrels at like Whole Foods or Sprouts. You're just like, all right.
Yeah.
I got my bullets. There we go. I mean, it was a year ago that I went to Sturgis and I had the picture where it's like t-shirts, $10. 2 24 packs of ammunition, $10.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You never know when you're going to need
hundreds of rounds of ammunition.
Donald Trump's campaign asked disgraced Firefest founder Billy McFarland for help wooing rappers.
I know my boy Billy's got an inside track.
2 felons, just,
Scheming.
putting their heads together. And it is. Donald Trump has surprisingly gotten a lot of support from
The criminal community?
The criminal community, and also just like rappers.
Uh-huh.
A lot of, it's just idiots. He appeals to fucking morons. And he's gotten a lot of rappers to show up at his events.
I mean, years ago we were like, the 2 felons who are going to come together, it's going to be Martin Shkreli and Billy McFarland. Little did we know, if we just waited long enough, that Trump and Billy McFarland, 2 felons, would finally come together.
2 felons.
Yeah. I got a beautiful location for your next Fire Festival. Mar-a-Lago. Report. Customer urinates on $500 worth of sandwiches at Boardman store.
Yeah, this is Boardman, Ohio.
Okay.
And it's one of those local news articles that really doesn't provide a lot of information.
That's a lot of sandwiches.
I guess they were in like a case or on the counter, like maybe a big catering order went in, and this guy just walked up and just pissed over all of them. $500 worth of sandwiches.
This would have actually been a really good bit if they showed the picture and it was just like 2 sandwiches and they're like, this is Joe Biden's economy. Yeah. This is what $500 looks like.
Yeah.
And he pissed all over these sandwiches.
This is why we got to go back to the gold standard.
At least it wasn't on a plane.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to piss on $500 worth of sandwiches. Do not piss in the aisle of a plane. You're going to regret it.
Yeah, that's right. California nudists rescue tourists from blowtorch-wielding pirate guy in caught-on-camera showdown. Okay.
None of these words are in the Bible. This was so up in San Francisco. Yeah, it's legal to be naked.
Yeah, well, duh.
And if you walk around certain neighborhoods, you will. It's always the people you don't want to see naked. It's always dudes in their 70s who have been hippies their whole lives and just walk around. It is kind of funny. They usually have a hat on, hat and sunglasses, and then just the rest is naked.
Yeah.
And they walk around, and it's I guess it's normal up there. But recently two old naked guys stopped a pirate guy who had a blowtorch from assaulting people. Or heroes. Naked heroes.
That's right. I salute our
naked
heroes.
justice. And yeah, that's San Francisco, baby.
So in San Francisco, actually, I don't think you can urinate, but you can be at least naked. You can at least have your fang out.
People do urinate. They have a big piss problem up there.
I know
Just like every major city, because there's no toilets.
Yeah.
Oh my God, why is everyone pissing and shitting on the street? Because they have nowhere else to go.
Yep.
Why don't you build some bathrooms? Oh yeah, they did. And it costs like $1 million.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
It's insane. It is absolutely crazy that in every major city, there's just nowhere to take a piss.
It's like in fucking China, they can build like a high-speed train between 2 major cities in like 5 years.
Yeah.
And we can't even build a fucking bathroom.
Or a trash can that doesn't cost $1 million worth of research.
What are we doing?
I did see the best solution for our high-speed rail problem on Twitter was we should just paint all of our Amtraks with motion blur to make it seem like they're going.
That is clever.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for Weekly Weird News this week. We'll be back soon with more episodes. But in the meantime, watch our other videos that we did this week. And we will see you very soon. We got, first like the video.
Yeah, come on.
Make sure you're liking the video. It really helps the channel out.
Leave a like.
We didn't lead with Biden today, so give us a like for that. And please leave a comment, reply to a comment, share with your friends. We're posting reels on Instagram now.
Yeah, for real.
Until I get bored of doing it. So check out now while it lasts on our Instagram. It's down below. And now you can watch the other videos that are popping up there. We have 2 for you, and we'll be back next week for more.
Bye-bye.
Bye.